Hey everyone, this is Rachel and welcome to another scrapbooking process video. If you hang out until after the video is through, there are always detailed shots of my current layout. Let's get going! Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Product Placement, my series with Kelly Oblak. Today Kelly and I will be working with PL cards or cut apart sheets, you know, the little square and rectangle things that we all have in our stash and they seem to multiply without us actually buying them. Alright, before I do that, I did want to talk about a couple of things, and I figured this would be a great day to do it. This is going up May 1st in a couple of days. It is International Scrapbooking Day, and I am going to be participating in a YouTube hop of live YouTube videos called Scrap Your Heart Out, and there are, I want to say 8 or 9 ladies who are going to be doing videos back to back all day long, so, you know, join us when you can. Hopefully, you know, you'll be able to join at least a couple different people. It's great if you want to scrapbook along. We chat, we talk about what we're doing, we talk about things that are going on, and we do all sorts of different types of scrapbooking, so that's really nice. You get different people doing different types of things, and some of it's, you know, very different from what you do, so it's always interesting to learn something new. I will be on at 2 p.m., so that's 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is the time zone Tiffany is running this on. So in my little in the little blurby thing, it says it starts at 9 a.m. That is 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay, I've got that now. Oh, so speaking of product placement, we are now kind of going back and revisiting products we've already used before because we always still have that stuff in our stash. So if there is something you would like Kelly and I to work on, just drop a comment in the description box below and we will try to do that. 2 caveats to that. 1, please don't choose sequins because both Kelly and I find they are from the devil. And 2, please don't choose ribbon simply because I don't own any. It's one of those products I don't really use, so I don't own any of it. I may have some twine somewhere in my stash, but that's about it. All right, I did want to take time at the beginning of a video. Normally I do this at the end of the video, but I do know some people don't always watch all the way to the end. I just want to say thank you guys so much for those of you who watch my videos, for those of you who subscribe to my channel. It's super humbling and just gives me all the feels, speaking of that card, that you guys take time out of your very busy lives to watch me scrapbook. Thank you. If you can flick me a thumbs up, that's super awesome. If you can't, I totally understand. It's great when you guys give me feedback on what you like, and even if it's what you don't like. And if you are watching and you would like to subscribe, I would be more than happy to have you join the story time and scrapbooking time we have here on my channel. I do try to post at least twice a week. The only time that doesn't happen is usually December. But other than that, I do try for Wednesdays and Saturdays. All right, one last thing. If you want to see my stuff in photograph form, you can join me over on Instagram, Ollie Quig Scraps, and I will write that in the description box below. I may put it on the screen, I may not. We'll see how fancy I am when it starts for the editing process. All right, let's make sure I've got everything. Yep, we are good to go. So, as I said, Kelly and I are taking on Project Life cards. So there's always several different ways you can work with these. A very easy way is to do a grid design where so you would simply, you know, line up the photos in the cards and whatever pattern works for you. If you can trim your photos down a little bit, you can use these as mats. Or if you want to have them where they're offset, you can do that as well. See, that's very cute. So today I'm working with this 3x4 and 4x6 PL cards. These are from a grab bag by Hip Kit that I purchased. I had purchased a grab bag and this set, which I believe are from June 2018, was in that set. I've also pulled out some color coordinating Shimmers products in Cold as Ice, Jenny B Blue, Caribbean Sunset, Sunset Strip, trying to read it, and then Forget Me Not. And I spilled the, as you can see, the Caribbean Sunset, I spilled it everywhere. And so it looked like I was bleeding profusely. And yeah, I apparently did not clean it all up as I should have. So that's super fun and nothing of your business, nothing you actually guys care about. So I am going to go ahead, get you guys put on fast forward, and start the process. All right, let's get going.
All right, so as we get started, I will say I do make several mistakes in this layout. It works out fine in the end. I'm happy with it in the end, but man, was I, kicking myself in my own butt while I'm doing this, going, oh my gosh, how dumb are you? All right, so I'm going to be starting with some marshmallow cardstock. My idea here is based off the story. This is about my nephew's friends and him doing a project for school for him, and it's a very messy project in the sense that it takes a lot of work and you got to put a lot into it, but the end result turns out super awesome. So my whole idea behind this, and I know I'm sounding goofy here, guys, is to have one side that's super messy and then one side that's really clean. So the messy side is what I'm doing right now, which is spraying shimmers mists through a stencil. The stencil is from Adventure Awaits by Echo Park. I told you what colors I was using in the beginning, and I'm looking for a messy look. If you want clean mixed media, do not spray through a stencil. There's all sorts of messes, there's all sorts of overspray, there's mixing, there's spilling underneath. Yeah, the way I'm doing it, there is a cleaner way to do it, but I'm not bothering to do that. So I finished the upper half. Now I did the lower half. I did have a little bit more spill through on that side. I managed to get that on the PL card, the rainbowy one on top. I managed to get that on some of my photos. It was a hot mess, ladies and gentlemen. So I've let that dry. And then my idea, as I said, one part is super messy because of the process of the project. And then the other part I wanted to be super clean because it turned out so well. And had to be precise in its ending piece. So I wanted to use the PL cards to represent that on the other side. Now I'm going to bring both a little bit of messy and a little bit of clean onto other sides just to balance it out. But for me, I'm using these PL cards not in a grid and not in Project Life, obviously, but just as pieces of patterned paper, just in specific sizes. So you'll see I've got some tucked vertically, some tucked horizontally, and I'm thinking about doing this. I had this card and it said January 2018, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to use it. So I thought maybe I'd flip it over and just do my journaling, but then I remembered I wanted to do my journaling on this rainbow card, and Sadie has joined us in case you're wondering what the tap dancing is. So here's where I make a really big mistake. I decide that since I've got all that messiness going on and all the color going on, I want to be precise with where my photos are lined up. So I use my T-square ruler to line up my glue right at where the photos will end, forgetting that I want to tuck something underneath them. And here, let's rub it down, make sure they're really down there. Yeah, this will cause me issues in the future of this video. So I'm just cleaning up some glue that is left over. And as I was saying, I'm just using these cards as what you would use pattern paper for. And if you have one that doesn't work for you, flip it over, see if it's blank, and just use it as a journaling card. So as you can see, I've got some going horizontally, some going vertically. I'm going to skip ahead because I'm doing basically the exact same thing until this point where I decide to cut down the feeling all the feels card, and I'm going to put that at the top. Now, normally, um, for that type of thing, I would just use some raised uh, stickers, but I have these foam, and this I normally use for when I'm making cards. But because it's over at the top and it's that big square, I decided I wanted a flatter, firmer surface rather than my normal little Stampin' Up! Little hexagonals. So I'm thinking about doing what I did, and then I run out of ATG, which now you'll see Xanthi is focused on my layout at this point. So I find this other card that has multicolor hearts running along the sides, and I decide to use that rather than the blank one. And you'll see right there is where I messed up and had to pry my photos up. I did end up cutting away from that simply because it took forever. I will not lie, ladies and gentlemen. I have no idea. There may be gentlemen watching. It took forever for me to be able to tuck that under, but I'm much happier because I did want to cover up that part where the stencils met up because they were 6 by 6 rather than a 12 by 12 or 12, at least 12 inches long. So for the first part of my title, I'm using these multicolor foam mini thickers that came from a Paige Evans line. I wanted something colorful, but I wanted something that would fit on that PL card, the neat part of my layout. I'm going for a very neat versus messy. So for my second word, I chose these gold cursive Maggie Holmes ones that don't fit on the Project Life card. You know, they show the messy part of this process. Now you'll see I'm leaving that blank, and that's because I'm going to put my nephew's school, and I obviously am not going to do that either on YouTube or in the photos for Instagram. So I'm going ahead and writing down my story, and I've got quite a bit to write. I'm writing about how this capstone project was very important. It's a large part of his grade. They can't graduate without it. My nephew directed a one-act play, and his friends gave up a lot of their free time. Not that like they have a lot of free time, but they have a 30-minute study hall school wide at the end of the day, where they can go for help and stuff like that. And they gave that up to rehearse this play, and then gave up an evening of their own time for for a school play. I mean, not like a big school play, but for a school project. So I'm keeping the rest of this layout very simple. I'm just using some wood veneer stars, and then I am going to add some enamel dots as well. There's a lot of color, there's a lot of everything going on in this layout, so I wanted to keep the rest of it on the simple side. So I picked out these enamel dots. They are from Simple Stories You Are Here, which is a slightly older collection, but the colors worked well with these Hip Kit ones, and that is going to finish me off except for one thing, and that is adding some gold Tidy Swap Color Shine, and that is simply because I've got the gold alphas and I wanted to bring the gold around elsewhere. Make sure you check out Kelly's take on using PL cards. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me. Bye.